I am Jeff Hook, the Chief Paramedic for Woodstock Fire Department. I'm going to show you today the proper procedure to fill a portable oxygen tank. If somebody brings an oxygen tank and stands it up, lay it down. It always should be laying down. Oxygen tanks should never be left standing up. So if you come in and you find, we had just done a video on how to fill the main. So this is the apparatus to fill the main. So you would have to disconnect this part by turning this little T-bar. And there's little pins, so you pull it out and then it slides out. These little pins are just like the ones that are on the oxygen tank that I'll show you in a minute. So I'm going to put it in there to keep it clean by the Ziploc bag. And you can see there's a little washer there. We have some spare washers here because sometimes when you're filling the tank, the washer will come out and you'll lose it. So now you could make sure the tank is off by the swivel. So righty-tighty. It's off. Now I can disconnect the regulator. So I can have it standing up as long as I'm here but when I'm set this up here, I'm gonna always either hold it or have somebody secure that. Now you'll see, the one side, that's where the screw goes, or the bolt. The other side has those two pins I was talking about. There's two pins here. So you have to line them up. You have to be very careful with this because you could break those pins. So you put that over top, and you want to line it up just right. Make sure those pins go in, you push it in, and now you can tighten it. You don't just put it over the neck and just start tightening it. You got to line those pins up. Okay, tighten it pretty good. Now you turn this on. Now if it started to go, shut it back off. You don't have a good seal. I can hear a little leak I heard, so I'll just tighten it up a little more with my hand. So now it's kind of important to have a blast shield, a little cylinder here, because sometimes bad things could happen when you're filling oxygen. And if that was to explode, you don't want to get hit with shrapnel. So I guess it's not a bad idea. Nobody does this, but if you had a helmet, an eye shield, I'm going to stand away when I do it, to the side, but I could still get hit. So at least I'll still have my vision. So we start with tank 1, that's going to be the lowest. And these are all off. Okay, so we don't hear much going in because the tank had about 1,000 in it. So tank 1 we're going to shut off. Now we're going to go to tank 2. So tank 1 had about the same amount that the portable had in it, 1,000. So now we went to tank 2. You don't hear it anymore. It's filled. Or it equalized with the amount that's in the portable. So then you remember these and mark them down on the sheet here so we know how much is in the system. So you always make sure you shut off 1 before you go to the next. So now we're going to go to 3. So that one went up to 15. Now we're going to 3. And you don't crank it on and make it go crazy. You bleed it through slowly. So if it starts making a lot of noise, crank the valve back down a little bit. And now we're up to about 17. So then you make sure you shut that off. Shut your portable off. And then you could bleed it back into 1, but that's getting fancy. You're only wasting a little bit of oxygen when you turn the valve and it releases into the air. So all these are off. This is off. Now I can. So that's just bleeding the oxygen through the line. You know, if it kept going, then you left the tank on. So, you know, reach up and shut it off. So I'm going to just stick this back in here for a minute. While I put this in a nice clean spot in the Ziploc bag. Because I don't want to come in and find this down here. It's winter time, so the floor is dirty. You don't want to get dirt and stuff into this area. So it's nice to have the Ziploc bag, put it in there, and put it up top. Now, then you're going to take your regulator, hook it back up. I don't need the helmet on anymore. Pretty safe. Find those pins. You got the pins in here. I felt it go in, so now it slid in. Now I tighten. And I'm going to turn on and see it's up to almost to the green. So if you forgot to turn this valve and turn it on, you might have just filled the line. So you want to make sure you actually did fill the tank.